Dexter here. Watched a video this morning. This guy makes really good videos, but it was almost a challenge to join in the fight. The fight that he believes is the only fight there is in Christianity. I stepped up and said, I'll take that challenge. I'll fight you. I say things sometimes that I don't really mean literally. Thousands of years ago, the Jews were expecting a Messiah. It had been prophesied in the Old Testament. Daniel had gave a prophecy of 70 weeks. They were expecting Jesus when he came. They weren't unaware of what the Scripture said. They knew it was time. When Jesus is on his way to the cross, he says, "Sisters of Jerusalem, don't cry on me, for me. Cry for yourself and your daughters." He goes on to say they will run to the mountains and pray for the mountains to fall on. Direct quotes from the Old Testament that pinpoints this time of the end that Jesus brought about by his coming. God brought about it through the Scriptures. That was the end. I fight against these people that say that today we're in the end, when it goes totally against what Jesus taught, what the whole Bible teaches. Jesus told his apostles, until you see these signs, don't preach that the end is near. So that his apostles, great inspired writers of the New Testament, go against what Jesus said when they began to preach. That it was the last days, the final hour. The axe was at the root of the tree. I fight against that. Coming from Christians, I don't believe it's true. I believe you're preaching a false gospel, along with many other things you say, such as, Christians have, it's like they live in this gated community where the rich and the wealthy live, and unless you're born again, you don't get in. The rewards of their being born again is heaven. The punishments of not being born again, they tell you, is the most terrible thing that any human can imagine. Jesus explains what being born again is when he's talking to Nicodemus. He says, you must be born again to see the kingdom. But he goes on talking about as long as you're in the flesh, you're of the flesh. But when you're born in the Spirit, you're of the Spirit, and the Spirit cannot be seen. It's like the wind. That word that Jesus uses for Spirit is like breath of air. I believe that people are in the process of being born again. Flesh and blood cannot enter the kingdom. But people go around today saying they're born again already. And then they use this to condemn those that say they're not. They go against what Jesus preaches. Jesus preaches to those people in John that if they have heard my word and still don't believe what I say, I don't condemn them. I don't judge them, because I didn't come to judge the world. I came to save it. These Christians today speak of Satan as being the ruler of this world. 2,000 years ago, Satan was going to be crushed. It speaks of Satan as principalities and rulers in high places of that world. Satan was anyone who opposed God, the enemies of God. Jesus calls them vipers and snakes. Told them they had filled up their cup of sin. He sent them prophets and messengers, and they killed them. He sent the Son of God and killed him too. Those were the enemies. Those were the Satans. But today, Christians want us to tell you that angels sin. 2 Peter and Jude tells us about blaspheming the dignities. Those angels. Angels being so much more. Don't even talk bad about the angels themselves. But yet Christians today will flies out of their mouth like butter. Angels sin. They don't have a good enough understanding of the Old Testament to know what the New Testament even means, and they go out there and they preach their false gospel, and then they come along and say, if you don't believe it, you're the evil one. You're going to hell to be punished for it. I don't buy that. And yeah, I'm in the fight with you, man. And I will win because Christ is on my side. Peace, love, justice, understanding, music, and prayer.